We are currently living in unprecedented times, where Vladimir Putin's Russia might be considered a more woke country than Donald Trump's America. I know this might sound insane, but more or less right now that is the truth. Hey there people, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and welcome to a brand new episode of A Russian who left his home country because he didn't agree with what was going on, reacts to how half of Americans decided to destroy America and turn it into a light version of Putin's Russia because supposedly eggs were too expensive or something. And now Americans are neither getting cheap eggs nor are they getting human rights. If you guys know a thing or two about modern Russia, their propaganda, and overall their messaging, Russia's trying its hardest to have a new image of a sort of a base, traditional, conservative country. And in the past couple of years, Russia has greatly reduced LGBT rights in the country. They banned LGBT propaganda for children, which is essentially the scapegoat, first of all. Then they banned it for everybody. And now you cannot even talk about LGBT issues in Russia. In fact, the LGBT movement itself is now considered as a terrorist and extremist organization in Russia. Yes, really. Russia has also recently banned transitioning. So not only surgeries, but actually changing your gender in your passport. And they also are now introducing a law where they're going to ban gay and transgender people from adopting children. And also right now, supposedly Russia is creating a new registry or a list of all LGBTQ persons in Russia. Now, I don't know why a government like Russia will want a list of people that they consider subhuman, but you know, all of this is clearly very, very normal, right? And actually, overall, a big part of Russia's propaganda and explanation behind the war in Ukraine was essentially that Russia, as a country that is based in traditional, is fighting against Western degeneracy, you know, the gender ideology, 72 genders or whatever, transformers and stuff, like Vladimir Putin said.
6 или 5 полов напридумывали. Трансформеры, Я не понимаю даже, что это такое.
And the point was that Russia is essentially trying to fight the woke liberal degeneracy of the Western United States, right? Well guys, now it seems like Vladimir Putin and Russia can no longer even make that claim or point because, well, the United States and Russia are now on the same side. Because America is also becoming base, traditional, and conservative, in parentheses fascist, and America also considers trans people subhuman now. Isn't this such a great victory for freedom? Am I right, guys? America, just like Russia, is now selling fascism to its people under the veil of family values. Whereas the people who are instilling these family values are, once again, in Russia, a guy who has had multiple bastard children out of wedlock without ever telling his people. Vladimir Putin literally had a child with a janitor, as far as it's known, a daughter, and she looks exactly like him, and supposedly right now she lives in France and is a DJ or something, so great stuff. And in America, it's much the same, you know, you have one guy who was an 80s New York socialite who has definitely never, ever done cocaine or something like that. A big friend of Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, so, you know, that's very traditional and base and conservative right there. And we have another guy who has bastard children with right-wing e-girls. And then he essentially abandons these children and never, you know, cares about them for a day in his life. Oh yeah, and also a very big friend of Jeffrey Epstein. So, these people are traditional and conservative as hell, you guys. They're definitely not lying. They're definitely not using you. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about this case right here. The case of Hunter Schafer. Which is something that just happened in the United States of America. It's a huge sort of story that shows how the new American administration has already started coming for people's rights. And it's a story that, in my opinion, shows that not only is, you know, America already becoming almost less woke than Vladimir Putin's Russia, but also that, you know, everything is going in a way that, you know, things are only about to get much, much worse. So, what exactly happens? Hunter Schafer, a pretty famous American transgender woman and also a model and actress, a celebrity, who once again was born male as a trans woman, she apparently lost her American passport while being abroad in another country, and she went to the consulate there to get a new passport for herself, and what she got is a passport that states that she is now male. Because Donald Trump recently signed a new executive order according to which now there's only 2 genders. So once again, very Putin-like. And look, even the name of the law is fucking insane. Defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal governments. Like, this is some insane, like... This is Russian shit. I'm sorry, but as a Russian who looks and pays attention how Russia has been attacking gay people and, you know, trans people in Russia for the past decade, this is extremely Russia-coded. Well, it's just fascist, because that's what Russia is these days, right? Except that, once again, this is America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, where anybody can be themselves and do whatever they want and make it, right? And basically, as part of this executive order that is just complete nonsense, that really does nothing to help any actual human in the real world, all this executive order here is for is to signal to the fascists that Trump is really their guy, right? And the only point is to destroy the lives of people who are trans. Let's check out what Hunter Schafer had to say about it.
Hello, Internet. I don't really post much these days, but I had a bit of a harsh reality check today and felt like it's important to share with whoever is listening. So I'm sure most of us remember on, I think, the first day of Trump's presidency, he signed an executive order to declare only two genders recognized by the state, male and female, assigned at birth. As a result of this, which I wrote down because I want to get it right, the Bureau of Consular Affairs has frozen passport applications requesting a gender marker change or renewals or new applications with a gender marker differing from an applicant's gender assigned at birth. And today, I saw it on my new passport. Male.
This is absolutely insane. And the reason why I'm saying that Russia is now more woke than the United States regarding this in particular is actually because, guess what? Even though Russia has taken away the right to transition, the right for people to openly talk about their identity, right? Because it would be considered LGBT propaganda, Russia actually has not yet implemented a system where they essentially take trans people's passports and change their gender to the gender that, they had assigned at birth. Yes, exactly. Right now in Russia, if you have transitioned before, all these new laws came into place, your transgender identity kind of stays with you because your passport still states the desired sort of gender that you put in there, right? Even Russia, with its insane homophobic agenda, right? Going after everybody who's gay, even Russia has not gotten so cynical yet to essentially go up to trans people who have been, living their life a certain way and just telling them, no, actually, you are not the gender that you think you know or say you are. You are the gender that we tell you you are. Even Russia is not cynical and insane enough to do this yet. Maybe yet. Maybe they will get to it, and I'm not gonna be surprised if they do, but right now, Putin's Russia, I wouldn't say they care about transgender rights or anything, definitely not. They care about destroying them, but in this little regards, Russia is currently more woke and pro-trans than the United States of America, okay? Is that normal? Is that the way it should be? Is this, once again, Western freedom and democracy and, home of the free, land of the brave? I mean, look, I know there's gonna be a lot of comments underneath this from, MAGA people or just, Z people saying, look, left just got triggered or whatever. Here's my take, okay? If you're a serious Westerner, if you claim to care about the Western world and Western values, Europe and America, right? If you care about the Western world, and I'm saying the Western world, not in the same way that people like Sargon of Akkad mean it, where they jerk off at a bunch of Roman statues and fascism, and constantly thinking about how the white man is gonna reign the world again or whatever. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual Western values like, liberté, égalité, fraternité. You know what I'm saying? The idea that people are equal before the law and that people have consequences for their actions, and the idea that people can also be free and choose how to live their life and choose how to present themselves and choose, have freedom essentially in their life, right? If you really do care about this shit, and if you're kind of like a libertarian coded person, you care about personal freedoms and liberty, right? And government not infringing on people's rights, please explain to me how this improves freedom and personal liberty in the United States of America, because in my opinion, it does the opposite. Unironically, if you like a save Europa, return to Europa, America first fucking, nationalist or whatever, unironically, I do think that your take should be, back off Russia, do not touch our gays and transgenders because they are an integral part of Western culture and the idea of freedom. That should be your take. Okay? Even if you're homophobic and transphobic, that should still be your take, okay? Because the existence of the LGBT community shows that you do have a society where people are free to choose how they want to live their life and who they want to love and how they want to present, right? I guess not, because all you people that talk about, freedom and liberty, a lot of you people are just fascists who actually just want to kill gay people. So, makes a lot of sense to me, but it's kind of insane that this is now, the mainstream American ideology. So, if you're an American, if you're a Westerner, really think about that right now, okay? Really do.
However, last year when I was filming in Barcelona, our car got broken into and
Classic Barcelona moments, you guys. Yes, this is why this happened, by the way. Hunter Schafer, she's got her passport stolen in Barcelona. So, I live in Lisbon, and it's a very popular thing for people who move to Lisbon to say, at least we're not in Barcelona, where, people are getting robbed in the street and stuff. So yeah, the curse of Barcelona has gotten Hunter, and this led to her having to get a new passport, which now states that she's male.
my bag got stolen, and inside of that was my passport, which was supposed to last me, up until my 30s. And so I got an emergency passport, which was very simple at the time. It's basically just a copy of my old passport, but temporary and only supposed to be used within the year. So as soon as I got back to the States, I had to get this fixed and get it replaced with a real proper passport, which I went to the Federal Passport Agency today in LA and did.
So yeah, I'm not gonna watch the whole video, but why this happens to me is pretty obvious once again. I know that there's a lot of people who are probably trying to sort of come to an understanding of this in their heads, to try to even justify it a little bit and to think why they're doing this, right? Why is America doing this? There's absolutely zero reason to do this other than to spite trans people, right? There is not a single person on this blue earth that has benefited from this law. I mean, right-wing chuds on Twitter probably think they benefited from this, but, their rights are still gonna be flushed down the toilets, and, they're still gonna be working as slaves in Elon Musk's factories in, in the next 100 years or whatever, because they wanted to own the libs, you know what I'm saying? These people are gonna be living in a cyberpunk fucking dystopia, but they're too dumb and blinded by the hate of minorities to realize that, right? There is zero practical benefit that this law brings. It's literally all about making trans people's lives harder. Because now what is going to be happening is that if you're a trans person and you got a new passport with an old gender, you're going to be having all sorts of confusions, at the DMV or whatever the fuck, where you go, Americans, for, documents, I don't know. Essentially, you're gonna have problems with documents, you're gonna have problems with crossing borders of different countries, traveling, because, people will believe that there's a mismatch between your gender and how you present, and, it's literally just there to make trans people feel like they are not welcome in the United States of America. And essentially, all of this as a Russian to me is kind of insane, because once again, to me this kind of looks like America is turning into a diet version of Russia. With its ideals, agenda, and propaganda, J.D. Vance recently said that Europe no longer stands with Americans' values or whatever, because Europe is too woke. And, I guess Trump, Musk, and J.D. Vance are just trying to say that Russia, with its base traditions and stuff, traditions of course, jailing its citizens and not allowing them to have free speech, the tradition of, blowing up apartment buildings, the tradition of domestic violence, and the tradition of, lawlessness. Those are the Russian traditions, obviously, so, well, Putin's Russia's traditions, to be frank, right? This is essentially where America is going. You have the first incel republic right now, ran by complete idiots who just want to destroy everything. And I understand that for some people it's hard to understand, people want to make peace with Putin. They say that Vladimir Putin is a great leader who cares about his people, who just wants to be, make peace and just doesn't want to be touched or whatever, when meanwhile, obviously, Vladimir Putin is an insane dictator who has embezzled so much from the Russian people and has destroyed millions of lives of Russian people, right? People also don't want to look at Trump and Elon Musk the exact same way. They will say, come on, Trump, yes, he does some ridiculous stuff, but at the end of the day, come on, he still adheres to American principles, he's an American, he's about that, freedom and liberty, he does care, he's not gonna be like Putin, he's a sensible man at the end of the day, and all you just have Trump derangement syndrome. Once again, guys, I don't think so, because this man has nothing but his own ego, and, essentially Dunkin' on the lips as his identity. That's his only identity, is to be an old fart that destroys shit. He just hates life, okay? That's what Vladimir Putin is, and that is what Donald Trump also is. So dear Americans, all I have to say really is welcome to hell, welcome to my life. You now have to live in a country where you know that your government is actively trying to destroy you, diminish your rights, make you poor, make you a slave in a cog in a system, and essentially make you subjugate under every single dumb fuck new law that they come up with. This is gonna be your future. And unfortunately, in a fascist country, the people who first fall under the hammer of justice are racial minorities, immigrants, you know, people with a different sexuality and a different gender identity. They're gonna deal with them, then they're gonna move on to women. This is what they're doing in Russia now. They're planning to like ban abortions and stuff. Potentially, they're making like being child-free illegal now. Russia's about to ban propaganda of abstaining from having children, so like, they're gonna come for the women next, and then, you know, only red pill alpha chads are gonna be left, and then they're gonna be slaving away in Elon Musk's slop factories or whatever, peeing in buckets and, you know, praising Daddy Trump. This is what's gonna happen. Sorry guys. The West sort of guides and lies, the protector of Western values, freedom, and liberty, or whatever, supposedly, the United States. It never was that, by the way. It was always a fucking lie, by the way, but now we're just seeing how obvious the lie was. I've been saying this for many, many years now, that Russia and America are more similar than you guys might imagine, and it seems like America is on the same path as Russia now. So, yeah, all I can say is that, you know, I'm definitely not terminally depressed right now because of this. It is definitely not going to get worse. Don't you worry, guys, it's gonna be good. Trump will definitely leave in 4 years. There will not be any scandal or a new Gen 6 or anything. Nothing's gonna happen, guys. Nothing ever happens. So, the West and America in particular has failed everybody, should I say. You know, they failed the people who have looked up to America for, you know, some kind of alternative for many, many years. They failed all these people. America has failed Ukrainians. They betrayed Ukraine. So, like, I don't even know what America stands for anymore, you know? You don't help anybody, you don't even want to bomb anybody like you usually do. And America now also thinks of LGBTQ people as subhuman, so, like, maybe we've had enough of America. That's all I'm saying. And look, I know I'm gonna get comments from Americans underneath this video saying, come on bro, Trump doesn't represent us, I've never voted for Trump, he's not me, I don't stand with Donald Trump, right? Well, guess what? I, as a Russian, have had to endure a lot of shit from people saying that, you know, I'm responsible for Vladimir Putin's regime and what he does, and that supposedly, you know, it's all my fault what happened. So, you know, I do really find it funny what Americans are saying right now about all of this, and it does really, once again, prove my theory that America and Russia are, like, almost the same. And yeah, you know, I don't really want to make fun of you guys or something, but to me, it is a little bit funny to see Americans saying the exact same thing that Russians would say, whereas a lot of the people from the West in America were the ones to shit on Russians for being, like, slaves and unable to, you know, rebel against the Putin regime and, you know, destroy his agenda or whatever. But that's probably a topic for another video. Anyways, guys, what can I say? We live in a world that's really fun and really exciting. Once again, there will be no justice, no peace, no freedom, and no cheap eggs, you stupid slut, okay? This is what the world is now. Have fun, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new on this channel, like this video if you did enjoy it, and also support me. The links underneath the description. Become a YouTube member is the best way to support me, monthly donation, or you can also do a super thanks underneath this video for a one-time donation to support me. And yeah, guys, I've had enough. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.